Oh,
Thanks, lovely.
sweet. Well, welcome back, everyone. We are here, excuse me, for another episode of Move.Breathe.Live with me, Wibbs Yoga, and
Me.
her.
Oh,
And her.
Jenny Wren.
Yeah, we're back. So we're back to chat to each other rather than chatting to a guest. The first of the proper episodes like this. And we've been humming and hawing as to what subjects to cover. And I think we're going to go deep.
Well,
balls deep, straight in.
I'm not going balls deep, by the way, guys.
I
am. That sounds so wrong. So I wanted to kind of give a viewpoint of me having suffer with depression, and being in a relationship with someone who has never been close to it.
Yep. I mean, I think it's one of those things these days, excuse me, that depression gets thrown around an awful lot. And I think it's quite easy for sometimes people to say, I've got depression, when they're a bit sad. And I don't think that is the same thing, personally. And I've definitely had times when I feel like shit and I feel low and I don't want to do anything, but I don't class that as depression. So this is where I want to go. And I kind of always say to Jen, when we're having situations and whatever else, and she goes, you don't understand what it's like.
He doesn't understand.
And I don't. And I say to her every time, I don't understand what it's like. I don't have those feelings. I've never had them. I have days when I feel like crap and I feel low. I mean, they're not that often, I guess, but
I think from my point of view, so me being diagnosed with depression, everybody has different variants. Everyone deals with it slightly different. It's just how the frustrations that I have sometimes within our relationship is that you don't understand necessarily. I mean, you are very understanding, but it's quite hard, saying to someone, essentially, you don't want to live anymore.
And that kind of goes both ways as well, because it's incredibly difficult and it's quite a challenging thing to have someone say, I just prefer not to be alive.
Yeah.
Like someone that you love and that you want to like, and
it's not very nice to say.
No, I bet it's not. I'm sure it's harder to say it than it is to hear it. But there's not a lot you can do or offer in that space.
No, and you have to be accepting of that help, I think. So from my point of view, there's been certain times when I've wanted your help, which I've got, and there are certain times when all I want to do is push you away. We're talking past in our relationship. I think maybe this last year I've been okay-ish.
Been pretty solid, really, I'd say.
I think, but that's because that, we had a conversation today, is that my healing journey is that I now have to be very open and honest and raw and vulnerable, because that is my healing journey. I cannot keep it under wraps anymore, because it just caused such a massive problem health-wise that I now have to brave it and have those horrible, uncomfortable conversations.
But from a relationship point of view, I personally think as well, having those conversations, as horrible as they are at times, does make life easier for us and closer for us, because when we first, you've always been pretty reasonable at saying stuff, but it's becoming, maybe I'm just becoming better at hearing and coping and dealing with it, listening, I guess. But you are getting much better, in the relationship. It makes it much easier so there isn't that big boiling point and blow your top.
No.
And then all of a sudden I'm like, well, where the fuck did that come from? You're pretty good at just keeping things undercover, and then just being
what the problem is.
That's what I can get it.
That's what I mean, is that it's the that's what was kind of essentially destroying me, is the keeping it under wraps, and then it would be something so simple that I would blow my top at you with.
Didn't put the dishwasher on.
That then you're like, holy shit, because I'm good at noticing the signs and symptoms within myself. I don't expect you to notice those signs and symptoms. Big things for me are sleep, alcohol, the reliance on alcohol as an escape as opposed to enjoying a glass of wine out. There is a difference within me. I'm not saying that that's the case for everybody. Essentially, there was a point when I was a functioning alcoholic. Can we call it that?
I would probably suggest that's
because
pretty close.
Yeah, because I wasn't a 9 a.m. drinker, but
4:30.
I would rely on alcohol to remove me from my head and my feelings,
to sleep.
And to sleep, yeah, which I'm, obviously a lot better at. But I think, the years that we've been together, there was obviously a period before we got together where I wasn't in the best shape.
She always looked banging though.
Mentally. And I think I have gone through so much. I mean, I didn't like counselling.
No. Well, this is something which I perhaps like to touch on, because I've had 2 counselling sessions. I think I had 2 counselling sessions after my grandmother died, and I was definitely struggling with some grief around that time. But I kind of felt like within like 2 sessions, I'm all right now. I've just spoken about it, and I don't know what else you're supposed to do.
I think also you have to find something that works for you. Everyone's recovery from those instances, grief, depression, whatever, it is very
independent, like personal and individual. But again, from my perspective, this is just going back to the very first point of Jen saying you don't understand. Like, I don't understand. I don't understand, and I don't want to be the sort of person who goes, it's all right, Jen, I know, I get you, I understand, but I don't understand, and I'd far prefer to be like, look, I don't understand, but just tell me, or I'm here, and I'll just shut the fuck up, and I'll just leave you alone, or I'll go and run your bath, or whatever. Sometimes I'll buy another bottle of wine. But I found the same with counselling to a certain degree. Like, I don't get it because I don't really feel it's, maybe I'm just
for you.
For me, yes, absolutely for me. And this is what I mean for like, for myself, is I don't really get these things. So I don't understand depression because I don't have it. And I'm like as horizontal as the floor is for the most part. So I don't get pushed and tweaked and like blow my top in that way. It just doesn't seem to be my makeup, my personality. And I found the same with counselling. And I know from your perspective, I mean, I think since I've been with you in the 8 years, you have done CBT, which was a waste of time for you.
I did cognitive behavioural therapy, which wasn't counselling when I was at work. CBT wasn't for me. Went for CAT, which is cognitive analytical therapy, that was me. That was my tools way out. Obviously, I think.
And then you did some more counselling, I think, didn't you, when further down the line as well?
Do you know what? I've blocked out a lot of it. What book?
5 Languages of Love book.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I did go for that counselling. Yeah, I did. I think. And then I started going on a different discovery journey of Robin, she's a spiritual psychotherapist.
Look out for the podcast coming soon.
She's amazing. That was a lot of regression therapy and things like that. I've done skills of stress, which was a lot to do with breath work and having those as tools.
And the physiology behind it.
And a lot of reading and listening to books. I mean,
and herself.
Or listening to myself.
Listening to herself. I think in my eyes, one of the biggest things I've noticed is your ability to listen to yourself, actually hear yourself and kind of go, shit's not right now. I need to back off, or I need to do, and you give yourself the space before you get to that tipping point.
But that's very hard because I'm not very good at doing things for myself. So again, we've had conversations before when I've not been in the best place and I just want I can't make a decision. So you have to make a decision for me. But whatever decision you make is wrong.
Always.
But I can't, like, I just want to absolve myself of any responsibility.
I'd like to think that's not just you, though. I think that's maybe just like a man or can never make the right decision.
Oh, you need to be careful, babe, what you say. Like, you are within punching distance.
I know.
No, I think...
But again, it's one of those things that from my perspective, I'm not a very decisive person at times anyway.
You need someone
and
to help you make a decision.
And sometimes Jen's like, what do you want, this or this? And I'll go, pork. And then she'll go, cool. And then, so that's a decision I can make because I've got an option and whatever else. But sometimes if it's like,
where should we go for a dog walk?
Yeah, it's like, oh God, my brain doesn't work.
But then do you think that's because you want to do the right thing? You want to please me, you don't want to upset me.
Yep.
So therefore your fear is coming from my reaction.
Yeah.
But then my reaction is going to be the same regardless.
Yep.
Right. Okay.
It's not. I mean, and we're not talking like all the time here. We're talking. This is when Jen's
not
in her
balance.
Yeah, when she's in her not quite square place. For the most part, I don't know. I'm getting better at it, and it is a massive learning journey for me. And this whole, living with someone with depression is not easy, especially if you've never done it or had it, or
coming off the antidepressants was fun, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, that was a time. I think you did it twice when we were together. I think you went cold turkey the first time.
Right, guys, if you are wanting to come off antidepressants, do not do it like I did. I basically stopped taking them one day. It was the worst thing I ever did. But then I went off to Australia, didn't I?
I think so.
Yeah. So I kind of was like, it felt like, when you're on a boat and then you come off the boat and you're woozy headed.
Your sea legs.
I felt like that when I came off them, and I was like, why am I spinning out so much? And then I spoke to one of my doctor friends, and he was like, have you stopped those tablets? I was like, yeah. He's like, you're supposed to like wean off them. I was like, oh, well, I'll be all right. And then I had 6 months traveling, which was amazing. And then ended up having to go back on them. And then I did it properly. And that was with the help of Joe Avison. That's another thing that I went through. I went to see Joe Avison for a while. Again,
podcast coming soon with Joe. She's my fascia anatomy teacher, but I kind of met her through Jen, going and having the 12-step treatment of
amazing
structural integration. And that was very kind of emotional, physical.
Oh, it was. She basically reads your body and just where your whole, this is what I mean, like I cannot hold that horrible stuff inside me anymore, because it just manifests in some other way, whether it be pain or lethargy or
anger.
I don't,
not really.
Don't get angry that often.
She doesn't at all. I'm just being a dick.
No,
I mean, you.
And also, sorry,
yeah, go on.
I was just going to say, like, it's fine. I'm fully accepting that you don't understand it now. And I think when you're in that bad place and you don't know where to turn and you don't know what to do, and someone's like, I literally don't know what to do with you, I think that's when I struggled. Now, when I'm in those places, I can verbalize it so much better so that you do have an understanding. Men cannot read minds, ladies.
Definitely can't. This I fucking can't.
Sorry to generalize as well.
You want to be getting.
I've got to be careful.
Yeah, that's right.
I think that helps. I don't expect you to fully understand, and actually, it's not your job to understand. It's my job to sort my shit out. Like,
Yes.
and say, I'm not. Today isn't, or this morning is not a very good morning. I have rephrased this.
But that's such a good thing in a relationship from my perspective. Of I can tell when Jen's not in a good place. I can. She's waving at, shaking her head at me. I can, but at the same, most of the time I can. But there's days when she will just be.
Sometimes you don't know what it is though.
No,
what is it? Did I put the dishwasher on? Did I not make the bed?
Yeah, I always make the fucking bed.
Always make the bed.
But then the fact is now Jen's like, I'm having a shit day. I'm not in the right place. I'm just going to go and potter around. I'm going to do stuff. And it's kind of like, normally I'll be like, just fucking sit down, just like relax. But that's
my meditation.
Exactly. But when she's like that, it's like, I'll let her go and clean up, let her go and tidy, let her do something. Because it like, you know, there's bits and pieces. Having a clean, tidy house helps her feel in a better place.
Yeah.
You know, being able to just potter around, not be sitting and thinking. Again, it's kind of like just be in the present moment, just do this thing. I mean, I'm sure, well, you're pretty decent at spending time at times working on your bits and pieces anyway, but
on myself,
yeah.
you mean? I do. I honestly, I said to someone the other day, you know, I don't know that I necessarily will always be free of depression and anxiety. I just have ways of managing it now.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I still will have to always be careful and look after myself. Otherwise, you know, you don't know it will happen again. And this is essentially why I left my job, because I spent a year saying I was unhappy.
Since lockdown, near enough, like
unhappy in my job. And then I got to the point where I was like sick at the sound of my own voice. So I was either I stop moaning about it or I do something about it. But then the things like, for me, sleep. No matter if I slept for 14 hours of a night, I'd still be tired.
Yeah.
There was this utter exhaustion and wanting afternoon naps and wanting to sleep in and being demotivated and all of those things and then it's like, oh, I recognise these signs.
Time to get out.
I don't really know what to do about it. So
hang on, I'll be back in 2 seconds. We'll continue this in Jen will continue talking.
He's put some food in the oven. And I think the fact that I managed to recognise those signs, and I was chatting to Robin, who you will hear her podcast, and you have a moment and you can make a choice whether this is her quote, is you choose emotion or progression. So at that point, I know.
I like that.
So she said, when the podcast comes out, you'll hear, but it's so true, I think. And actually I had a choice. I can choose emotion and sit in this horrible feeling, or I can choose progression. And actually that progression was in myself, and I'm pretty darn proud.
Yeah. And I think actually like the point I guess Robin makes and you're making there is perfect, of like, it's much easier to end up wallowing and being not stepping into those like places.
But I think you have to be ready to do it, babe.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying you don't. I'm not saying you don't, but I think there's a always, and again, I think this is our health model in some ways, is always expecting somebody else to give you something to sort it out.
Oh God, yeah, it's hard work.
And yeah, and I think the problem is it's kind of, there is no, I mean, things are getting better now for sure, but there is no, I'm sorry, but it's kind of tough shit. You need to sort this out yourself. Like these pills are literally just a band-aid. You know, you're missing something, a connection somewhere within your life.
Oh, don't get me started on that.
And so we'll do that on another podcast perhaps. But
the fact that nobody talks to each other anymore.
Yeah, this is another one we were discussing. So we'll save that for another day, because we'll proper go off. I reckon we've done like 20 minutes, 25 minutes. But
okay, yes, guys.
that's right. We can go half an hour. We'll
okay.
go half an hour. So yeah, just I forgot where I was going now. What was I saying? Yeah, that idea of it's up to you. And yes, it is a challenge, obviously. I mean, if it wasn't hard, we wouldn't have any depression, we wouldn't have any whatever else. And I don't think society as is currently really supports the idea of being able to say, look, I'm sure it's really fucking horrible for you, but I can only do this much. This is literally all I can offer. You now need to take this and run with it.
Yeah, and I think on reflection, there's one moment when I had a serious jaw problem and had to go to the hospital. I'd locked my jaw, I couldn't open my mouth. I was seeing Max Facts and they said, oh, you know, this is stress related, and I was not having any of it. No, I'm fine. And he was like, well, it's stress related. And you know what, I badgered him to do surgery on my jaw. And actually, in hindsight, if he could have offered me, do you know what, Jen, go and do 6 weeks of meditation, do this course for 6 weeks, and then you come back, and if your jaw isn't released, I will operate on it. And if it's released, then you know that it's stress related. But at the time, I just wanted him to operate on my jaw to fix it.
I mean, we've all been there, even outside of depression, like pain, like chronic pain. You just like, I don't know, you could look at chronic back pain and be like, I want an operation, just sort my disc out. There was a bulging disc or something.
What I mean is that was a massive sign of stress.
I know, completely. But it's that thing of like that immediacy of like, if something is driving you into that place, so like the stress giving you pain in your jaw, you're not thinking, oh, it's stress. You're thinking, I just want this fucking pain to go away. Do something. And I mean, you kind of had it done.
I did.
And then it helped in the short term, but actually then you that was a point in time where you actually took quite a big step on your journey, I think. Post that, I think that was not long after we got together, but you were kind of making some fairly big steps at that point, and I think that almost self-resolved it anyway. She still gets it a bit now, in all fairness, because I'm really stressful.
No, you're not. So we have waffled on for a bit.
Yeah, well, hopefully, you know.
That was a snippet, guys.
Yeah, this is the shit that we talk about all the time. Imagine being in our family.
It's all right. That's why we have dogs, so
exactly.
They can't talk to us.
So I hope you found that. I mean, we're not really going to offer any takeaways from this, as you'll probably notice as the episodes go on with guests. There's some little snippets of takeaways that you can maybe help do things with your life. I'm not sure we can really do that in these, but instead we'll just hopefully.
I mean, it's more, you know, talking from our experience. We are not here to tell you what to do,
or a perfect couple by any means.
Absolutely not. We are not here to say the shoulds and shouldn'ts of any relationship. We're just here to share, you know, we feel like we have a good ability to talk things out, and just feel like sometimes other people need to hear that, you know. I
think I wonder sometimes if, certainly coming from a past relationship, I guess, where I never spoke, I was like a mute, that actually,
God, I wish that was the case now.
But actually being able to perhaps hear another couple talk through stuff, like everyday life stuff, which is like perhaps more relevant to yourself than you realize, and you just kind of keep it into yourself. Perhaps if you hear other people saying it, then maybe it might spur you to open your gobs and have a chat with your other half or someone. So cool. Anything else? Are you done?
Well,
I mean, we've got like 25 subjects that we're going to talk through, so expect loads of these. But yeah,
I just like the ability to be able to share. So thank you for listening. Thank you for.
It's my pleasure.
I am grateful that you listen, babe. I am, and I do appreciate it. And I probably don't say it enough, but thank you.
Look out for podcast bonus episodes of Jen's diary,
Jen's journal.
This is Jen's journal.
Jen's journal. I might go and do that now.
We're gonna do it now. It now. Look out for a bonus episode. We'll. It might just be shared on social media. We'll see. It'll be hilarious, if nothing else. So thanks so much, guys. Thanks from me.
And me.
And have a wicked day, and we'll catch you all tres soon.
Lots of love.
Take care.